The following is a project of our nonprofit newsroom. Support Midcoast Morning and local journalism today at chly.ca/donate. Local news doesn't survive without local support.
Hello and welcome to Midcoast Morning. I'm Joe Pugh. The Repair Café movement has returned to Nanaimo. Volunteers came together Saturday to look at more than 100 household items in need of a fix. An event at St. Andrew's Church in the Old City Quarter featured tables for small appliances, electronics, furniture, jewellery, bike repairs, and more. It was the second Repair Café held in Nanaimo this year, with a third planned for June 13th. There are Repair Café events worldwide. The global movement aims to save items from landfill and to help people acquire the skills to fix items on their own. I paid a visit to Saturday's cafe. On today's program, we'll hear stories from the event and give you an idea of what it's like to get an item looked at a Repair Café. Towards the end of the day, I spoke with organizer Stenson Lindal, who was inspired to bring Repair Cafés back to Nanaimo after attending an event in the Comox Valley.
My name is Stenson Lindal. I'm a machinist at Harmac Pulp Mill in Nanaimo, and I'm an organizer of the Repair Café in Nanaimo.
And how did this Repair Café movement come back to Nanaimo in the first place?
I saw sort of a need to put myself to work and be involved a bit more with the community. I visited the Repair Café in the Comox Valley and told myself, I think I know enough people that would be interested in helping with this, and made it happen.
So once you had that idea that you wanted to bring this to Nanaimo, what did you have to do to make it happen?
A lot of emails. I used to program parts on a CNC machine, so I was all right with computers, and then I took a bit of a break and got better at computers again. So it's a lot of emailing, getting familiar with how to use Google Drive, and corresponding with people, putting flyers up, talking to different radio stations, basically promoting the word to anybody that's going to listen.
So what goes on at a Repair Café? Earlier on, during Saturday's event, I spoke with some people who had brought items in to be looked at.
I'm bringing in my father's electric pencil sharpener.
And what is wrong with it?
It is humming. I think it's maybe a stripped gear. And I've gone on YouTube, I've got it on my phone already, but I want confirmation that the gear is stripped to make sure that I'm not repairing something that doesn't need to be repaired. I've also, in the past, gone to the public library and got a part 3D printed, which is what I could do with this pencil sharpener gear. There's patterns online, and the public library, for no charge, will print parts from patterns that you find online.
So you've got a plan to maybe 3D print a gear at the library. You're here today looking to see if that is in fact the issue?
Yes. Like any medical issue, you want to make sure you're diagnosing the patient correctly.
And I understand you're next in line here at the small appliances table. Is that correct?
I am, yes. And I have to say, I love that there is a woman at the small appliance repair. I love when women are in non-traditional roles. Shouldn't be still that way, but I'm glad to see Michelle's there.
My name's Sarah.
And what has brought you out to the Repair Café?
It's a vintage toaster, the kind that you have to manually flip the bread over. I think it's from the 1920s.
And has this vintage toaster stopped working?
It has. It has really brittle wires that heat up to toast the toast, and one of them has split, so there's no connection anymore.
Was there a time when you owned this toaster that it did work?
Yeah, I've been using it to toast for a couple of years now. I got it at a vintage store in Chemainus.
And what has pushed you to try and get this vintage toaster repaired as opposed to going to the store and buying a new vintage toaster?
Oh, well, I bought the vintage toaster because my crappy plastic toaster from the store broke after a year or two, and I thought, I'm not going to do that again, so I'll go get an old one that might last longer.
Have you attempted to fix the vintage toaster on your own?
Yes, every morning I hook the metal onto the coil again, and then it pops off again. So that's been the extent of my attempt to fix it myself.
Hey, my name's Susan, and I have some solar lights in here that have been frustrating me for quite a while.
What has been frustrating you about these solar lights?
Get them to turn on. I have tried everything.
We'll check back in a little later on to see how the repairs went. Today's program is about the Nanaimo Repair Café. It's a movement that connects volunteer fixers with people who have small household items in need of repair. On Saturday, May 30th, I attended an event at St. Andrew's Church. It was the second repair cafe held in Nanaimo this year. Stenson Lindal is one of the organizers. So when you were reaching out to people to try and get them to come and volunteer their time to help repair things, how did that go? What was people's typical response?
I think, surprisingly, most people are pretty receptive to the idea, and they think it's a good idea. There's a certain percentage of people that will actually show up, either volunteering or actually show up and bring an item. But most everyone I've talked to has been like, oh, that's a cool idea. Yeah, I think that's great.
And how did you find the people to come and volunteer here in the first place?
That's a good question. We're still trying to survey that question exactly. Facebook, social media, physical forms, bathrooms, actually. If we put a form in a bathroom, it gets attention because people are forced to look at it. Talking to coworkers, family, and friends. I think the radio stations have been very helpful. And then the other thing is the Nanaimo recycling app has entered a lot of people's minds, I guess, or reached out to a lot of people that way through the Nanaimo recycling app.
Are there specific things you're especially looking for from volunteers, particular skills or things they're able to repair or things people might not expect to be useful but you could really use?
That's a good question. My mind always goes to electronics, I think, because that's where my skills lack. So seeking that out, people with electronic skills, and but at the end of the day, if you can sew on buttons or if you can glue wood or know adhesives or have some spare tools you'd be willing to share in a couple hours, like that's really what we're looking for. And somebody that is willing to share a local business or explain what you might need to do if we don't have the technology available.
And today I would say that it's been steady. When I first got here, there was a lineup out the door of folks waiting around. There's still all of the folks repairing appliances and electronics have been pretty much busy all day. How do you feel? What do you see as the impact that this has been making so far through the first two goes?
I think the impact is not everything needs to be thrown away. And if it does, did you at least take it apart? Did you read the manual? Did you at least attempt a little bit to look at the item a little bit further than you normally would?
Well, on the tables that people can sit while they're waiting for repairs, there are a number of books about repairs and repair cafes. And I was flipping through one of them, and one tidbit that stuck with me was when you go to one of these events, you bring in your thing to get repaired, but you don't just drop it off and pick it up later. You're supposed to go and sit with whoever is fixing it and talk them through what the issue is. And there's like a dialogue that you see happen between the fixers and the people with items. Can you tell me about maybe like the social aspect of the Repair Cafe and what you've seen?
Mm-hmm, for sure. Yeah, I was just attempting to help with a little belt alignment on a treadmill. Because the electrician, who's an electrician by trade, she was like, hey, you're a machinist, right? You know a bit of alignment and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I'll go have a look. So there was 4 of us with headlamps poking and prodding this treadmill. So it's still being fixed right now. So that's the sort of cool thing. It's like 4 people with headlamps. 2 of those people are attendees. 2 of those people are, repairers per se. But we're all just trying to figure out, why is this treadmill not working? So that's pretty cool. The other thing that's pretty awesome is when you have a wood and furniture department, with all their wood tools and their glue and all that, and then you realize that 30 lamps come in. Well, they also have the skills to fix a lamp, so that's pretty cool to see as well.
Earlier on in the show, we heard from Sarah, who brought a vintage toaster to the Repair Cafe. I had the chance to sit in as volunteer fixer Chris took a look.
You're bringing the toaster in and it just says you have a broken wire.
Yeah, it works, but
I see. Oh boy. Have you had anyone else look at it?
No. So I've been hooking it back together myself, and then it'll toast, but then it pops off again.
Yeah. Once a heating wire is broken, because they go through a lot of stress, right? Every time they heat up, they expand, and that's why they're coiled like that. But when they fatigue, they break through the fatigue. Yeah. If that is just the screw, it's on the end. I think we could it looks like we could attach it back to that screw. See in there, right there, and there's a nut on the end?
Yeah.
I think if we straighten that wire off at the end, we could curl it and wrap it around there and you might be back in business again. Okay. Is that what you did before on that screw? Or you just touched it on the end?
I just kind of stretched the bottom piece up and then hooked this onto it.
Right.
And then it would kind of...
But not mechanically with the screw.
No.
Okay. I think that's going to be pretty straightforward.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Sorry for all the toast crumbs.
Don't worry at all about it. Yeah, I'm just going to take this off so I have a little more. When was the last time you made toast in here?
This morning.
You got here just... Are you ever lucky?
Yeah. I just read about the repair cafe a couple days ago.
Oh.
I've been hooking the wire on every morning. Is this my last toast? So.
Yeah. Okay. We got a good length there now.
Okay.
So see how this basically that's what I did on this one is I just created a loop on the end.
Do you just love fixing stuff?
Yeah.
Or are you an electrician or something?
No, not by trade. No, not at all. But I do since I was a teenager. I got involved in. At a very young age, I worked in a hardware store, and we did all kinds of fix-it stuff, and I was always curious. I think that's why I got hired there. And then from there, when I was in school and they had shop class, electronic shops, I got to spend my time in the back room fixing teachers' appliances while the other students did other stuff, and it was too easy for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of like doing it, yeah.
After reattaching the coil and cleaning out some of the electrical connections, the toaster was ready for a test.
Oh yeah, see it's getting red now when you press down on it.
Did you see the smoke coming out?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably
it
just
was
crumbs.
clearing itself off?
Yeah, it's probably, because I turned it around a few times. So there you go.
It doesn't usually light up that fast. You made it better.
Oh, did I now?
Before. Yeah. Okay, so you just need to...
Yeah, it's probably the resistance on those dirty terminals.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing why it was there.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do you mind if I write a few notes down and then you can take it on the way out, drop it off if you don't mind? There's like a repository. If you want to keep anything that's on there, just take a screenshot of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just they keep stats of this stuff. Yeah. All right. Glad I could help.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
One of the volunteer fixers at the repair cafe was Nanaimo-Ladysmith MP Tamara Kronis. What brings you out to the repair cafe?
Well, I wanted to do some repairs. I'm a goldsmith by training, and the chance to sort of use that part of my brain that fixes things is a wonderful... I'm just excited to be here to get a chance to do that.
So we're about halfway through today's repair cafe. What has it been like so far? What have you been able to help out with?
So most of what I've been able to help with is jewelry. And so I've been putting together little class repairs and things that can be done without soldering. But it is so wonderful to see people coming and getting things repaired that would otherwise end up going in the garbage.
While we were speaking, someone approached with a question about jewelry repair.
When I was 16, I was given a pearl necklace, and the clasp just seems to not be holding. And because it's precious, I wondered what I need to do to get that repaired.
Okay, so a lot of the time with pearl necklaces, the clasps are mechanical, so they usually go in and come back out. And the thing that makes people nervous is that they keep coming open, and they're worried that they're going to fall off and get lost. That's actually a really easy repair to fix, because most of the time all I have to do is pull the metal a little in one direction or another, and that will give it enough tension that it'll stay closed. So that is a really good example of the kind of repair that can be done at the Repair Cafe.
Midcoast Morning is part of our nonprofit newsroom project, supported by listeners like you. Keep this program on the air by funding it today with a monthly sustaining donation at chly.ca/donate. We've got tote bags and shirts if you need an incentive.
We're paying a visit to the Repair Cafe on today's program. On Saturday, May 30th, St. Andrew's Church in the Old City Quarter played host to the second Repair Cafe event this year in Nanaimo. There are Repair Cafe events in communities worldwide. Typically, they bring together volunteer fixers and connect them to people with household items in need of repair. Organizers say they were able to see 108 items during Saturday's event. Towards the end of the day, I spoke with organizer Stenson Lindal. And what's your vision for where this is going? I know there's another Repair Cafe event set for a couple of weeks from now. Can you tell me a little bit about that and where you see things going after?
Yeah, I think if volunteers still want to do this, because at the end of the day, they're the ones doing all the repairing, I'd like to see potentially a North Nanaimo, I'd like to see a Central Nanaimo, and I'd like to see a South Nanaimo branch per se, and they can run them at any duration they want. But I'd like to see these more regular events where they don't need to be so big, but people can expect to bring their items at a more regular pace. The other thing I'd personally like to see is a business that's able to profit for repairing things, because we run once a month and then we take 2 months off in the summer. But if there's a business that can profit from this and help people and keep things out of the landfill and save people money, that would be ideal. Obviously, there's upstream issues that kind of stop that from happening because items aren't always repairable. But yeah, I'd like to see businesses involved with this as well, and that means sending over some expert volunteers or offering their services that we can sort of collaborate with. So those are my visions.
Do you feel like that's a niche that's kind of missing right now in our community? Like, I'm thinking of things you could get repaired, maybe large appliances. There are places that do that, but things like lamps or things like your vintage toaster. Is there a space that comes to mind that you're aware of that someone would just expect to take that and get it fixed at kind of like a reasonable enough price?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. There are businesses in town, and we're compiling a list to help support those businesses and support the people that want to use those businesses. So it's a work in progress, right? This is our second event, so we do want to hone that list and support those businesses by sharing them to the attendees and the people that ask. So we get emails all the time, hey, can you fix this, can you fix that? So pointing those people to businesses sometimes is another option. But to answer your question bluntly, we're still figuring that out. Because there are upstream effects. We don't want to get too used to 8 years is acceptable for a washing machine, or 5 years is acceptable for a toaster. I feel like if we get used to that, that's just going to become the norm. So figuring out how to solve that upstream problem of manufacturing, planned obsolescence, and then trickling down to the right to repair. It's a bigger issue than Nanaimo. It's a worldwide issue. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
well, I would imagine two big things that are going on that kind of contribute to what you're maybe fighting against is, on the one hand, you mentioned planned obsolescence. Maybe if I buy a small appliance today, it's not built as well, or there's some part of it that will crap out a lot faster than if I bought one from 50 years ago. There is also, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like there's a tendency that the average person today is less capable of taking apart their small appliance and diagnosing and fixing it. I'm wondering if you could speak to me about maybe like the balance and the interplay between those two things.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's a bit of a home economics concept, or home economics in school. Are there courses? Is there a culture in school from elementary, middle school, high school that says it's okay to fix things, or it's okay to be somewhat frugal and resourceful and all those things. Potentially that could be another avenue to discuss, is what's going on in the schools from the ground up. You mentioned there's like a skills gap. Are people able to? Do they have the confidence? Do they have the skills? Do they have the tools to fix the things? And so we're trying to figure that out too at these events, and trying to we're not all wearing orange T-shirts either at this event. Not all the repairs look like professional repairs. We're not all in uniform, right? We want to create that, hey, you can do this too. As an attendee, you can fix this item, and we'll show you how, or the basic tools or the basic things to do that. We don't want to create that boundary where there's this group of people that can only fix things and this group of people that rely on people to fix things.
Not every item that gets brought in is able to be salvaged. Earlier on in the show, we heard from Susan, who had brought in some solar lamps.
I guess the LED light bulb is gone now. So those are impossible to fix unless you have a really good electrician.
Oh, no.
So. I'll wait for the next one.
So it's the LED light, eh? There's no hope for them?
Nope.
Do you have a sense of what's going to happen to them?
Probably just going to cut the wires off and still stick them in the ground. It'll look pretty. But, oh well, we tried.
How does having tried, what does that do for your peace of mind?
Well, I didn't have to throw them in the garbage right away, right? So I was hoping that they could fix it, and they are fixable, but somebody has to really know what they're doing to fix that. So, but that's okay. It was a nice try.
We also heard from Janine, who was hoping to get her humming pencil sharpener diagnosed. I caught up with her after she visited the small appliance table.
I am so happy that Michelle was the repair person that helped me. She took the pencil sharpener apart and showed me exactly why the machine wasn't working. It was because of the gear being stripped, but I wasn't sure, and she confirmed it and actually showed me with her screwdriver where the gears were missing. And then she did another exceptional thing. She congratulated me on my troubleshooting skills and built my confidence and gave me a lot of energy to go and replace the gear myself. If it doesn't work, she's mentioned the next repair cafe is June 13th, and I can bring it in. But I think in addition to the diagnosis that I was looking for, she was also building confidence, and that's another takeaway from this repair cafe for me.
So you got the diagnosis, it was what you expected. You're still sticking with this plan to 3D print the gear and try and replace it yourself?
Yes, and based on that encouragement, I feel much more confident.
Amazing. Well, hopefully we don't see you at the next repair cafe.
Well, thanks, Joe, and happy sharpening.
Organizer Stenson Lindal says he'd like to see the whole community get involved in the local repair cafe movement. And I understand that you're tracking the data on each person who brings a thing in. When someone repairs it, you fill out a form. There's like a global repair cafe kind of online hub of data that you're participating in. Can you tell me how that all works?
Yeah, so we're actually still learning the process. So we have our own reception where we give the attendees a form, and it shows model number, serial number, type of item, what went wrong, like the defect, different information about the item, and then we have the repairer fill out a certain side of the information. How did they fix it? Was there manuals available? What was the difficulty of repair? And then that is basically captured, and then we put that information on the repair monitor, which is a branch of the global movement. So it's Repair Cafe International. There's 3,000 repair cafes in the world, and some of them submit this information to this repair monitor, and then this data gets used for legislation changes, the right to repair movement, especially in Europe, and then that information gets used for that. So hopefully pushing for more upstream benefits and better quality products and stuff like that.
So if I bring my lamp into the third Nanaimo Repair Cafe and I get it fixed, then my data point will somehow be contributing to this kind of global movement that's fighting for things like the right to repair?
Yeah, exactly. And even from a local level too, because the Regional District of Nanaimo is here today with us, answering people's questions and sharing information. They want to know more. The City of Nanaimo has helped with some grant funding for Repair Cafe Nanaimo. They want to know more because, let's face it, our landfills are filling up, and people don't want garbage incinerators here. So what are we going to do with the stuff we have? From a local perspective, they want to know. Local government wants to know what's the weight of the item. From a small scale of Repair Cafe Nanaimo, what are we doing for change and stuff like that?
And maybe finally for you here, organizing these events, running 2 of them now, what has that shown you, or what have you learned maybe about the community of Nanaimo?
Yeah, the community in Nanaimo needs stuff repaired. That's what I've learned. Even like on a sunny day, there was the lineup at the beginning of the event. People need their stuff repaired. The other thing that's super cool about Nanaimo is we have heavy industry, we have robotics manufacturers, we have compressor manufacturers, we have a university here, we've got retired people here, we have all sorts of, like a whole diverse group of people. And I'd personally really like to see all of those types of people here participating in volunteers and also bringing their items. So it's a non-exclusive event. It's very inclusive. Yeah.
Stenson Lindal is one of the organizers of Repair Cafe Nanaimo. Their next event is scheduled for June 13th at St. Andrew's Church in the Old City Quarter. That's our show for the day. Thank you for joining me. I'm Joe Pugh, host and producer of Midcoast Morning. Jesse Woodward is our executive producer, and Arby Fruit is our technical advisor. You can sign up for CHLY's newsletter at chly.ca/subscribe. If you have a story you'd like us to cover, you can email us at news@chly.ca. Our theme song is First One by local Nanaimo band Waste Management. That's all for now. I'll talk to you on another Midcoast Morning.
This program gives thanks to the Snuneymuxw First Nation as we broadcast and podcast from their traditional territory. Thanks for listening.